Hey guys, in that question, I asked you guys what you thought Sam Houston did during the Civil War, what he thought about it. And so I'm going to make just a really short video today to tell you what he did and kind of what happened to his family during that time. So, right before the Civil War started, Sam Houston was the governor of Texas. And he did own slaves, but he actually voted for a lot of, or not voted for, but he also was for a lot of laws that stopped the spread of slavery. So I'm not really sure where he stood on the issue of slavery, but I know where he stood on the issue of the Civil War, and that was he was very against it. He said to many people that there was no way we could win if we left the United States. He said there's no way that we can survive because they'll starve us to death, which is what they did. Remember from the video we talked about their Anaconda Plan to keep the South from getting supplies, and also General Sherman's campaign to destroy everything, to make everybody be hungry basically and give up. And that is what happened. Sam Houston knew that would happen, and he's most famous for saying, "I love Texas too well to bring civil strife and bloodshed upon her." He didn't want the state that he loved and had fought so hard for to be involved in a war like that. So he did not support leaving the United States, and he was actually forced to resign as governor. If he stayed governor, he would have to pledge allegiance to the Confederate States of America, and he refused to do that. So he resigned as governor. And his son, however, Sam Houston Jr., he had quite a few children. And if you want, you can send me a message on Remind, and I'll send you a link to some things where you can learn about all of his other children. But this was his oldest, and his name was Sam Houston Jr. And even though his dad was against leaving the United States, the son fought for the South. He fought for the Confederate States of America. He was actually wounded at the Battle of Shiloh, and people thought he was dead for a while, and they didn't know where he was. There's kind of an interesting story about that, about how he was saved at the Battle of Shiloh. A little bit before that battle, he had been shot, but his mom had sent him with a Bible, and the Bible actually stopped the bullet from going into his chest and saved him. And then a little while later, he was shot in the leg. And the battles were super gruesome and very bad, and so there weren't enough doctors. And a doctor came by and thought he was so injured that he was going to die, so he just passed on. He was like, well, I can't help him, let me go see who else I can help. And then someone else came along behind him and saw Sam Houston Jr.'s Bible and looked in it and saw that there was a note from his mom. And he said, oh gosh, I know this. I know this lady. I know Sam Houston. I know his wife. This has to be his son. We have to help him. So he ran and got the doctor and convinced him to come back. And they did save Sam Houston Jr., but he was also sent to a prison camp after that. So he was actually saved by the Union doctors after the battle, and he was sent to a prisoner of war camp in Chicago. And eventually, his family found out about it and sent some money to get him out of the camp. And he was allowed to come home, and he fought again in the Civil War and some other battles. But his dad actually died before the Civil War was over. So Sam Houston that we learned about, not Sam Houston Jr., actually died in 1863, 2 years before the war was over. But I thought you just might want to know a little bit about what happened to Sam Houston and his family during the war. And just another cool thing about Sam Houston Jr. that sort of relates to us, Sam Houston Jr. after the Civil War became a doctor and lived in Waco for a little while. So that's kind of cool. That's really all I have for you today, just something extra. And if you want to know something else about the website with all of his kids, just send me a message and I'll send it out to you. Hope you guys are having a good day and staying safe.